Hey everybody, and welcome to the Denver and Grand Western Iron Horse Route. This is our second attempt at going live today. Having some weather here. Actually, from my view here, it looks like we're doing a little better this time. I actually went and reset my system. I don't know if it's a combination of the weather or not. My download speed's usually about 30, 28, and it was like 6. My upload speed was almost normal, but there had to be something going on there with the download speed being that far off. But if you're back with me, I appreciate you. Somebody is. Um, just to recap, because I'm not going to archive what happened before. Yesterday we had started talking. Well, actually, we concluded the live stream discussing my A and B units, my N-scale, Kato, F7A and B units that are over here. I'll show you in a little bit. The They run together, and they're both motorized. So the back one, the B unit, was a little bit faster than the A unit, and that was causing me some problems. Because I'm DC and not DCC, I can't speed match. It's the downside of that to running multiple locomotives, although people do it. My good friend Steve Arnold runs 6, 7 locomotives on DC all the time throughout his train. Helpers, pushers, pullers, whatever they are. Um, we gave a quick update on Blue, who was doing all right last I heard, and we kind of left Steve to let us know more information about that if he would like. PDR is here. I'm happy about that. I know Bill was a minute ago. John's here. Gary's here. People might be in and out. Numbers going up a little bit. And I'm just glad y'all are here. It's raining here. It's nasty here. So anyway, back to the topic. We had discussed several ways that I could possibly remedy that situation with the B unit being faster than the A unit, and it being DC and not DCC where we couldn't speed match. Some of the alternatives were to remove the shells. The best alternative, in my opinion, was to remove the shells and the light board from the A unit and switch it with the B unit, which runs great anyway. I've always often wished that locomotive mechanism was running the train at the front. But we also talked about a couple other things. There's somebody who is of the opinion that it's fine to have the quicker locomotives in the back, which I guess it is dependent upon what kind of grades you're dealing with, what code rails you're dealing with, and all those kind of things. For my particular situation, coming around this corner, the faster locomotive in the back was not working for me. We talked about, like I said, several possible solutions. That V unit runs so good that I hate to touch it, literally. I don't like to take it off the track because something's working. I don't like to mess with it. And so I thought about something. I pulled everything off the track but the B unit, and I ran it and I timed it, and then I picked the B unit up and I turned it around 180 degrees because they don't care what ends it runs. The top does look a little different. I can tell what's front and back just from the top, but otherwise there's no difference. I was running it backwards anyway because it ran better that way. Turns out in the long run, running better that way, now that my track is cleaner and straighter and has less bumps and all this good stuff and is running smoother and better. Maybe it's running faster a little bit in places that I'm not used to it, and so I'm having to deal with some grade and radius turn issues as a result. Not exactly sure, but regardless, when I turned the B unit 180 degrees, it ran just a little bit slower, and it was just as slow, just enough, slower enough, just slow enough to not push this right front wheel flange on the A unit over the rail. And so now I'm running trains, and I didn't have to do anything to the B unit. Dave and Steve and John and Bill and some of them, they came up with some excellent, and Claude came up with some excellent suggestions on what to do yesterday, but the simplest thing has worked temporarily. I don't know that it's going to be permanent. Um, Other than that, anything that was in the previous stream that ended up getting dropped, I don't know that was of extreme importance. I don't know that we talked about anything significant. I tried to get a window and window thing going, which certainly was a mistake without doing a speed test first. I noticed that I noticed I wasn't looking good over here, and then I tried the window and window thing, and so I'm not going to do that right now. I want to run some trains first and talk with y'all, and just get some kind of discussion going about whatever y'all like. I'm glad that all y'all are here. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be live. Glad to be talking with other model railroaders, and I'm going to run some trains here. Now, what I want to tell you is that I got about 12 or 15 laps this morning, and I had a derail. I stopped at that point. I didn't look for any more. I was pretty happy that it had gone that long, because I haven't done a lot of work since the track work in regard to fine tuning. So I'm going to run some for a minute. Heavy J is here. It is Dave, PDR, John, Bill. All right. Now, it's going to make a liar out of me, maybe, but I've got a little wobble on the 4-inch cars, which I guess is, they're probably struggling to take those tight radius turns. But man, it is smooth. I'm going to say that it's going to derail, but it is smooth coming through there now, compared, because it was so ugly. And I knew it. I just kind of it was like I put a blinder up and didn't look at it. Yes, these are the musical stylings of Joe Walsh. We want to thank him. I did purchase the rights to the music, and John, a friend of mine, John and I were talking about copyright and stuff, and they tell me that it's okay, but it's not. I'm not getting strikes for playing it, and we're curious as to. I did buy the rights, but I don't know not the rights. You know what I mean, for my devices. Maybe I should shut up. But not that many people are watching, or will. But we're wondering if it's because it's relevant to the channel, and I model the Rocky Mountains and that kind of thing. So I do get a warning, but they say it's okay. They're kind of I guess if I ever make money off of it, they have some rights to it, is kind of what I read. I'd be okay with that. I like listening to it. I'm not going to make money anyway, I don't think. So I'm just trying to hang out with y'all. See, I was hoping if I ignored it, it wouldn't derail. Now, what I'm hoping to get an opportunity to do is to discuss the rest of my train that I need to add, because this brings us into another possible topic of discussion. And it, I guess so. And just not to get off topic on it, which I already did, and that's my bad, but I would imagine that if anything, I'm adding interest to the purchase of it. I would argue that. Because, right here, see, this is the musical stylings of Eddie Rabbit. Now, prior to my modeling the Rocky Mountains, I would have never listened to Eddie Rabbitt. But it turns out I've enjoyed it and purchased the music on my device. And I could only safely assume that at some point in the next 20, 30 years, somebody might hear this song on my channel and could buy it. 99 cents, whatever, $1.19. Anyway. Alright, guys. I really, what I want to be able to do is just, walk y'all through it coming down here. It's going to derail now. But, all right. Dave, you here? Dave, you here? I got a couple of questions and stuff. I'm going to see if he's here. I'm not discounting anybody else's ability. I am only discussing his elevated coupler knowledge. Gary, what's up, bud? Glad to have you. All right, well, I don't know if Dave's here yet. There he is. All right. Proceed. Dave, do you see the train running? It's going to derail now. Usually it's okay till John Denver comes on and then goes off. I guess the conductor gets upset. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is a Denver and Rio Grande Western car that was sent to me from South Bend, Oregon. Doors on everything. This unit had to be modified in order to run Bettendorfs. Dave's suggestion was one of two things: to either enlarge the hole in the truck. You can feel free to step in and correct me anytime I say anything wrong that you suggested, Dave. Which is what I ended up doing. I enlarged the truck a little bit with a file. Oh, I'm derailing. Uh-oh. I lost something. The back right wheel flange on the improperly weighted caboose that has not yet been weighted. Okay, so I'm not going to get too upset about the fact that the improperly weighted caboose on the back had the back right wheel flange come off. I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over that right now. I'm glad I caught it, because see, here's the issue with that. You want to talk about a major crash could happen had I not caught that. This S-turn can get ugly. Now, usually that's not where the crash occurs. Fortunately, a lot of times the crash occurs all the way down in that bottom right corner, or at least that was before I fixed it. So I don't know what's going to happen to me now. I caught it that time and got lucky. It's amazing. I can hear it when it derails now. That's sick how much I can hear it when it derails. All right, anyway, back to topic. So Dave suggested, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dave, your suggestion was to widen the opening in the truck a little bit, as opposed to cutting the pin off, the extension in the pin, kingpin. There's an extension in the kingpin here, hole you put the kingpin in, or that you screw it in the Bachmann trucks. Okay, one of the suggestions was to cut that post off and then use styrene or whatever I think it was to make the hole fit the bolster pin. Okay, but instead of cutting it off, I just used a file and enlarged the truck. And here, I'm going to try to see what y'all are seeing. It's hard to do. I was digging in the garden earlier. All right, so I got a little bit of play in it. So I don't know how that turned out, but yeah. Gary, can you hear when your train's going to derail too, or your train's not derail? So one of the things I need to do is I need to put some metal wheels on this boy and see if it'll work. I'm a little concerned, Dave, that I got a little bit too much play in it, and what that's going to involve. Oh, sure, yeah, yeah. But my thoughts is to test it, and if it keeps derailing, I'm gonna have to enlarge the hole that holds the bolster a little bit more to get it a little further in there, a little tighter. But I'm gonna try it like that, and here's the other nightmare. I actually put those little dealies that come with the Bettendorfs, so the thinner bolster pins will fit on this, and that didn't work. And in doing so, I enlarged the holes too large, to fit the thing. So, Dave, if you're with us, should I just leave that in there and file it down, or should I put something else in that hole so it holds a regular bolster? What do you think, Dave, if you're there? Or Gary, or Heavy J? Are you talking about the stairs on the loco, Heavy J? That's a good question. Let's see if that caused mischief with that back car. Sorry, I showed y'all my butt. That was unintentional. All right, Heavy J, I'm gonna look into that right now. That's a good question. Well, Dave, I don't know that I'm gonna have a problem with the hopper. If you're talking about the one that the widen the trucks on the truck hole, I don't know that I'm having a problem or not. I kind of did that semi the way you told me to do. What's not 100% correct is how it's pinned down. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Evie J, if you were referring to the stairs on the caboose, I 100% know what you could have been talking about. Now, I have body mounted trucks on my caboose. That I don't have truck mounted couplers on my caboose. You know what? I want to put a light in my caboose. How do you do that, y'all? I want to light up the whole train. Why don't we light up our trains? I mean, I realize. I guess that make it. I'm sorry, but a light on the caboose is not unacceptable. I don't want no Christmas train going anyway. But a light on the caboose, right? That would be all right. How do you put a light in an N-scale caboose on a tight budget? Like almost nothing. Yeah, I mean, Heavy J, don't they? I mean, I know back in the day they really well. I mean, they only had cabooses back in the day, but back in the day they did have lights on them. There was a time period where they did, I think, and a time period where they didn't. Dave, you know anything about that? Hey, Dwight. No, Dwight, I'm good. I actually explained that. Are you asking about the B unit, Dwight? Since you just stopped in, I'll update you real quick because I'm real proud of myself. Exactly, PDR. So don't they? But that's probably they probably don't have. Do they? Those little things? They're kind of expensive though, and I think there might not be for DC, are they? No, Dwight. I took the B unit and I pulled everything else off, and I ran the B unit a couple times and timed it, make sure the time was accurate. Did 3 laps. Picked up the B unit, spun it 180 degrees. Granted, it was a little bit slower, so I put it on like that. Hadn't been derailed. I say that now it's going to derail, but my everything that's on there now is actually NMRA weight standards because the caboose is off. Now, this car and this caboose have to be weighted. But before I weight that caboose, I'd love to kind of find some kind of way to put a light on it. But I don't want to add weight and then, I mean, I guess I could get another one, but I don't have that kind of money. I really probably can't afford to add a light in my caboose right now. It would just be really cool. I don't know if like y'all have ever seen in my videos at the very end. I mean, I know everybody doesn't watch all the way to the very end sometimes. At the very end, I've kind of got like a night scene, and that's what made me think about the light on there because that would be awesome if in that particular that's what I want it for really for that end scene because the train comes through. I got all the lights off out here almost, and the train comes through to run the helix, and if there was a light trailing on the back on that caboose, that would be it would be much cooler. Richmond's Controls has light kit for NTL cabooses. And would that be for DC too, Dave? I mean, wouldn't it, John? That would be awesome. I was just kind of like, man, that'd be. I even kind of thought about doing something crazy, like those glow sticks. Like, what if they had a glow stick that was small enough, like a little bitty, teeny tiny one that I could break and put in there? That just temporary. Oh yeah, cool, cool. That that's something that's cool. Like, um, that's like probably gift, like price range for family, mom, grandma, that kind of thing. So, not that I have anything coming. I do. I got something coming up, but I probably should get something else, not train related. Should I go on and just ask for something railroad related? My people ask me like what I want for a gift, and like I'm scared to even tell them anything railroad related. I don't even want to see their face. Yeah, they make tiny ones. What, the little glow sticks? You talking about the Dollar Tree or like the Dollar General, Family Dollar? It is the Dollar Tree where you can get things for $1. And somebody told me they might have them there, is why I'm asking. And but you know that thing's gonna move in there. I mean, I guess I could make a like a base for it, and it could be that temporary, and it could be that inexpensive, y'all. Which is, yo, well, my buddy that I had over here yesterday that did a lot of, he had that really cool idea. If you watched live yesterday, I might recap that real quick. But he's does some electrical stuff. Like he actually ran a new bus for me and stuff. I didn't even ask him to. He looked at mine and was like, he does air conditioners and stuff. Anyway, um, he came up with a great idea. I totally lost the point of my story, but over here where this comes around and we added the switch right there. Um, where we added the switch right there, um, on this side where it comes off, I had to kink the track a little bit, well, a lot really, um, to keep it on the platform. And then the other side, the side that peels off, actually could pretty easily stay on the platform, but I don't really want them that close together for scenery purposes. But um, we're going to be adding these to each side. All right, like so. And there's stuff foam down there and all this stuff. And so I've been trying to figure out, well, I'm going to cut all the poles the same height and blah, 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 trying to figure out how to do it. But I mean, I was really curious, and I knew it was going to be difficult the way I was planning on doing it, which would be to cut evenly cut posts, set them down, and to try to get that level with the current platform. You see, I could get it level without any problem, but get with the pound grade, all right, was going to be a whole different ballgame. So I asked him what he thought, and he came up with the idea of we used this bit, and he put a hole in this is masonite, what Claude said, I think. And what we'll do is we'll put holes in this, and we'll be able to adjust the heights accordingly, and then set it with a sealer like a caulk or something. We'll set it. All right. Now, if any happen to require the need to be where the track would be exactly, then we could take a razor saw, cut it flush, sand it, make sure there wasn't any obstruction. But he saw my little weak attempt at Ron's trees, and his idea was if we cut them right, we wouldn't even have to cut the tops of them off, or we could cut the tops of them off wherever we wanted to make those trees that I've seen Ron make on his channel, and I think others make them too. But I thought that was a great idea. We're going to try it that way this weekend and shooting video on that. Dave, did you have any thoughts? Oh my gosh, Dave. Okay. Derail. I have with that idea that you just gave me, Dave, is I just got extremely excited, and as soon as I did, my train derailed. But y'all, Dave has an incredible idea. Wow. And you know what? I often thought about my yard being up here, staging, being up here, instead of down here. I could have it under this table, but I could also have it up here. So it's way down the road, though. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. I'm still, we're going to try to get this right. But Dave has an excellent idea. Excellent. If you'll read in his comment, he's talking about another helix to get it to level, and then you could basically just run a bridge straight. Wow, dude. What are you in? I'm in scale. Is that what you're asking? Right. I'm not 100% sure what you were asking there, Dwight. But anyway, we're going to pilot holes through these guys, run skewers through them, okay? Apply caulk, sealant, glue to the area, the roundabout area that we know it's going to come to rest in. Drop it down, get them right. You'll be able to move them. There's multiples. It'll, we'll be. I think it's a great idea. Going to be shooting a video on that this weekend. Going to be adding these two platforms to this platform right here. So if you see any of my videos where the train comes through to switch, we'll be adding platforms to both sides, trying to get them level. I'll be using plaster where they actually meet and marry. And I'm probably going to have to use something like that. So we're going to see what happens once we get there in regard to filling the minor. We should have some fine little gaps, of course, to deal with somehow. And I'll figure out exactly how I'm going to fill that. Maybe some of you guys would have a good alternative. I mean, I have plaster of Paris, but I don't know if that's the best way to do that since it cracks sometimes. It seems to crack. The way I do it, it's cracked. But I had it on great stuff foam, and this won't really be on great stuff foam. This will be on this, between this and some 1/4-inch foam board. See, because I used to do 1/4-inch foam boards. Boy, it'd be nice if I had the whole helix in this. Oh, yeah, I'm in a, Dwight, actually there is a tour of this guy and my plans for the layout in my channel. But I'm in a 10 by 16 by 16 shed. So, or maybe by 14. Upstairs has a nice sized loft. I can't like stand and walk, but my daughter can. And I utilize as much as I can up there to keep this area for trains and crafts. sometimes scenery crafts, and my wife paints out here at times. So in a shed, and there is a nice tour of it again in the channel. And what that tour actually goes into, more than anything, is what my plans for the layout are past right here, as it goes on and moves around. Because, the line that I model has a 6.4, 6.2 mile tunnel. So that, I can have a lot of fun with that if I can get over to it. Winter Park would be the end of my route over here at the very, very far end, and I'll probably be an old man if I ever make it to there. An older man than I am now. It's going to take a minute. A long time. I would have basically hit the lottery. Basically, like, hit the lottery to make it to Winter Park anytime in the next 10 years and do it right. Because I'd have to, I could probably, yeah, if I did it the way I'm talking about. Because I'm talking about doing it right in sequences, steps. So right now I've got 8 feet of the 16 taken up. I considered one of my temporary goals was to go ahead and run track to the end and have it 16 by the end of the summer. But I've actually kind of reverted on my ideas on that and do improvements and to better the area that I have right now. And then I'll proceed. Something actually happened. Y'all know Joe G, some of y'all, right? Joe G had something happen to him, and he and I had talked a couple comments, but I don't know the guy or nothing, but we had a couple comments back and forth about one of his projects, and he was kind of bummed about something that happens. Like, we have things that don't work all the time, and I reminded him that it wasn't a race, and then reminded him that it wasn't a race. I reminded me that it wasn't a race, and so I slowed down a little. And then talking to my buddy the other day, I was reminding him that the track needed to be perfect before we laid the switch or any more switches. And I reminded myself there that I had other track problems that I needed to fix before I even did the passing in the terminus, which I'm ready to shoot the video on that. And we're getting close, because basically adding these supports is the beginning of adding the passing in the terminus project. So that's going to get started this weekend, probably with my brother Vinny. Let me check and see what y'all are talking about. See if you can find it. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I could probably move them still. That's a good idea. Double layer. Tell me double layer, Dwight. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Well, Dave's suggestion was really good. Another helix here, and then they could connect without a grade, and you could just roll through here. This whole thing could end up being a parking garage down here one day. Yeah. You know what? What I want, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen because things change all the time. But what I was hoping for is to start down here at Denver. All right. And basically what I would be doing is, here's the door, all right, that I come in and out of right here. And so I'm in the bottom. When I walk in, boom, I turn right, and I almost knocked my light down. That would have been funny. That'd been actually cool, as long as it didn't hurt nothing. I've done it. So I come in, I look down bottom right here. Basically, I finished the layout up here significantly higher. because my prototype is 2% grade all the way from Denver to Winter Park, basically. And there are parts that are steeper than 2, and a few parts that are less. But if, for the most part, it's right around 2% all the way from Denver to Winter Park. And like I said, there's that 6-mile tunnel that I could scale down some, obviously, but I was thinking like making like a transparent kind of deal where the train would actually go into a tunnel, but since it would be elevated and you would actually, because that part of my line is right where it would come out to Winter Park, because Moffat Tunnel pops out, so it would be right before the end here. My ending scene would be the mountains of Winter Park and all that. But anyway, doing like a transparent tunnel up there, I thought that would be awesome. Like, people could see like a shadow of the train in there passing through the tunnel where it wouldn't totally disappear, and have it be like, where I could just pull the shell of the tunnel off and on. I don't know exactly what I would make it with, but there's paper that's thin enough where light would show through. If I put light behind it, would like that do 10 years from now, maybe, or longer. I, I hear you. Oh yeah. So you had an exposed helix on your layout before, John? Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it's really fun, and I'm glad it turned out that way, because I would have never done that in the way I did it. Um, Had I really thought I would ever proceed too much further, I probably wouldn't have done all that. But I really didn't want to go to the expense of buying or making another table. I wanted to use the table I had, and I knew if I ever wanted to go further with the layout, I'd need to come up on this table. So I start doing this twisty thing, and it's like what I actually saw is the a picture of the Taha Chapi, the Tilu. I'm sorry, I can't say it. I've tried. I've read it and have trouble saying it. Steve can say it. Um, yeah. Uh, did you say, Dave? I'm reading again. You said, uh huh, kind of tight. And I was trying to think of something, because um, my buddy was talking about the fact that we didn't need any other support to this other than the caulk or the sealant. And to be honest with you, I mean, I shouldn't be putting that much weight on it. But I mean, we know things happen. Things can fall on the layout and that kind of thing, you know. And unexpected things, like thinkable things, things you can't plan for, happen. And so ideally, it's just like that people laying their cork straight on foam. You know, that's awesome for you, but like somebody said, what if I lean over on it? Not me, because I'm not gonna lean over on your layout, but as my layout, what if I lean over on it? It's gonna depress. I'm not doing that. Not stable enough for me. But I want to encourage you guys to check in tomorrow morning after Track Smack at 10:30. I'm going to do the premiere for the Track Work 3, where I finished this part up. Y'all have already seen these trains running through here. Well, kind of running. Not sure 100% why I had that derail. I'm going to have to look into it, but it's running pretty good. For the smoke I've done to the track work that I did, it's great. I'm actually of the assumption that I know still about other track problems I've got. And I'm sure that the derailment that did occur was past problems that were already there, and it had nothing to do with the new track work. So I am going to complete that video in just a few minutes and go ahead and upload it for a premiere tomorrow at 10:30. I would appreciate y'all's support if you have time and you're able to. Saturday morning sometimes can be real hectic for people. I do it because I'm on watching Track Smack. I actually help out with that sometimes. And so I know I'm there. And I also know there's other model railroaders on kind of around that time. And so, I make sure that I do it after a good bit after the show, almost a half after the show. But I do it that time mainly because my family also knows during that time I'm watching and working with my railroad show, and so I'm able to kind of get my preview in after that. And my family's usually pretty good about that on Saturday mornings. They always kind of give me my time, and they're good about that all the time, to be honest. But I appreciate y'all. I don't. Again, I know that Saturdays are busy, but if y'all are able to stop in tomorrow morning, 10:30 Central, to see my premiere of part 3 of the track work. Nothing's going to be new news to y'all, but I'd appreciate the support if you're able to get there. I appreciate y'all being here today and dealing with the technical difficulties. I'm actually saying goodbye right now because I'm going to try to, before I leave, I'm going to try to go to another screen. I'm not going to try the double window this time. I'm going to try the single picture where you would just get my screen. And so if you could just get my screen, it would only be showing one camera. And then I could show you recordings. And what I'm assuming is that if I could show you recordings, I could probably stay on live chat with my device, even if it's just one camera. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to show y'all's layouts or y'all's featured things y'all want to talk about on here. So we can talk about y'all stuff instead of mine all the time. You see what I'm saying? That is something that I'm moving towards. It's a technology thing, or I'd already be there. That's what we'd be doing. I'd have Dwight, for example, a picture of Dwight on there where we just saw his head and he's talking. And behind that, we'd have his layout with trains running and him telling us about it. And I'd just be standing there looking stupid. That would be my preference. That's if technology would allow, that's what we'd be doing right now. We'd be featuring y'all's stuff, talking about mine less and y'all's more. Right now, I got technology permits me to air to y'all this way. So I'm monopolizing the time right now, but I plan to share it soon. So before I go, I'm going to try to show you a video that I took yesterday. It's just a fun video with my friend Vinny, that I now call Brother Vinny because of the fact that there is already a cousin Vinny in model railroading, and I pick on him about that. And because sometimes I call him cousin Vinny sometimes anyway, but I don't anymore. Not in the railroad room. So because we already got a cousin Vinny. So anyway, I shot a little video with him about that. I was just talking about this idea that he had, so I'm not going to show it long. I just want to actually see if it'll work. So I'm going to do that, and if I'm able to do that and come back to you whether it works or not, I'll say goodbye again. And otherwise, good night, and I will see y'all hopefully tomorrow at 10:30 Central Time after Track Smack. I will be on for my premiere, and I know y'all know about that, and I do appreciate y'all support, and if you're able to come out, I would appreciate that as well. I'm going to try to go to that video now, and again, works or not, if I'm able to come back, I will. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Or Monday. Exactly, PDR, thank you. We'll see if we can get this to work. Uh-oh. Hold on, I didn't even start it. It might take a sec. Bear with me. If you stick around, that's cool. Oh, I got 80 on with me. Dang. I hate to get off. Why? I need to be able to have y'all on here. Because, see, I'm tired of talking. And I need y'all to be able to talk right now. Or at least I could have been talking to y'all the whole time, and y'all could have been talking some, and I wouldn't be so tired of talking right now. I got to start my camera up too, because I rebooted everything, so it might not work because I didn't start it with it started. And so if it doesn't work, we ain't gonna sweat it. We going on today. We done. This is all gonna work out over the summer. I want to get all the kinks out over the summer, and then we'll start doing something. Because once work starts back, I'm gonna need we're gonna come fall. I want to set a time that works for myself and the people that enjoy watching the live stream. And the intention is to feature other channels and other layouts and watch trains running 90% of the time. Have any more coffee? I can't. I told myself that the last cup, because what happened is I got caught up. All right, I didn't have a cup at like 10, so I made a cup at 10. Well, then it hit 10:45, and I was going to come on with y'all at 10:55, which I did, and so I needed a cup then, because I like to have a cup when I start. I like to have it to sip on throughout. Well, then that didn't work out, so I couldn't make another. I already have had too much. I genuinely feel like I've had too much coffee, like jittery. Okay, I might be able to do this, but I don't have the dang video up either. Hold on. I'm not prepared to do what I'm trying to do at all. This is... All right, I don't know if y'all would... We'll see if y'all see. I'm talking about wide in that area, but I just want to keep it. And we're talking about how to stabilize it and make it level. You had a great idea. And y'all aren't seeing my screen. You're seeing the normal camera, right? No, but I mean, I see. And it's buffering like crazy. Yeah.